drishti. Drishti is your gaze. So when you're in a yoga posture, you are standing in, let's say, Tadasana, mountain pose, and you pick one point to look at, one point to gaze at. Generally, sometimes it's at eye level, or if you're in a warrior two pose, the gaze is over your middle finger on the front hand. Now, the gazing point is more than just where you're looking. It's about honing your focus and allowing your attention to really be one-pointed and centered in that moment. Now, I like to explore this idea of drishti while knitting, picking a point to look at, to really hone in and bring our awareness to one point so that we can start to turn our focus inward more. Now, for this project, you can grab anything that you're working on, a gauge swatch, or maybe you're knitting the yoga mat from Yoga of Yarn. Whatever it may be, try to find a comfortable seated position. So I like to sit in easy pose, Sukhasana, up on a chair or on the floor. And right now I'm working with some hand spun. So this is 100% merino wool that I spun, and I'm just doing a gauge swatch so I can kind of get an idea for what my gauge is so that I can knit a hat. So that's what I'll be working on. I'm just doing simple stockinette, knit a row, purl a row, knit a row, purl a row. As best you can, don't engage with the thoughts. We're trying to hone in our attention to what's going on inwardly. Just gaining awareness. No need for analysis, no need for judgment. Just be wherever you are in this moment. Now, I've got myself seated, I've got my knitting project, and then you knit. And focus your eyes on one point. And focusing your eyes on that one point while training your mind to stay with that focus and not get distracted by all the other thoughts that might be popping up into your head. And they will come. Trust me. The lesson here, though, is that we learn to not engage or respond to every thought that comes into our mind. I will point my drishti towards my stitches as I create them. So one way you can go about this drishti, this knitter's gaze practice, is by having an intention of focusing on your stitches. And you can repeat the intention of, I will point my gaze towards the stitches as I create them. So as I create each stitch, not allowing yourself to round forward and hunch as you're doing this, but to create a nice tall spine, still with that chin parallel to the floor, focusing on one point as you go. And as you think about the laundry that might be needing to be done, or the dishes, or whatever else pops into your head, you just breathe and keep going and keep looking at your stitches. I'm, of course, changing my gaze to look at the camera for you guys to be able to see my face, but hopefully you get the idea. We're going to keep our eyes focused on one gentle point, breathing deeply. And then when we're done, just set the project off to the side. Evaluate how you're feeling. See if you feel a little bit more settled by working on focusing your attention to one gaze point. And then either continue knitting or go back about your day. Namaste.